What's going on, guys? Bexio back, and today we are looking at Plug Power. Lots of institutional money flowing into the stock, and when the big institutions start moving money around, the price starts to start moving as well. We can start looking at the price chart of Plug itself. As we know, it's been pretty consistent, just kind of staying in this channel between $13.91 to $19, breaking up a couple of times here in the beginning, and we thought maybe had a breakout here, fell back in though. But if we make this channel right here, we have higher highs and higher lows happening as well. So we can see this with this low, second low, third one again, and right now, as long as we stay above this channel here, it'll be another higher low. For higher highs though, we might have been just barely higher right here with these two. So see how that plays out. But right now we're sticking in both these channels. But if we go down the line, we can see how much tighter it starts to get above here, starts to form like this wedge, and it's got to move one way or the other. So once we start getting tighter, more towards this is towards the end of the year, even if it takes that long, then we could get a big move up or the move back down to 1391. So we'll see how the rest of the market, you can see the rest of the market here, very red. So we'll see how that's doing. But even in the days where the market is super red and we're seeing big stocks, even things like Amazon's down almost 2%, Coinbase down almost 5%, even McDonald's, something that doesn't swing so hard, down almost 2%. Well, Plug is down only 0.85, about 1%. So it's Plug maybe holding up a little bit better than the rest of these stocks. But, that is short-term, day-to-day stuff. Overall, Plug's been holding on better than the rest of the market, where we can see the rest of the S&P 500. If we go here, you can see there's no real time where it's trading kind of sideways, except for more recently. It's been falling and having little rallies into more falls. But recently, we kind of broke that trend too, where we had kind of trading sideways instead of having a rally into a sell-off, which has been what's happening this entire year. Now we had this rally into kind of a sell-off, but nothing ridiculous, not going lower than where it started rallying from, which is what has happened the last every single time that it had a rally this year. But now we're seeing kind of rally with correction, trading sideways here and moving up. So maybe breaking away from the rally into a collapse and moving forward with more of a normal market. A lot of people think inflation is probably peaked, at least the CPI data that a lot of things are based around. And we might have already been in this recession for, X amount of months right now, even though officially it would have been probably the 28th is when the data comes out, when they'll say that we're in a technical recession. But they've been changing that definition too. They've changed it, saying 2 negative quarters of GDP growth aren't in a recession anymore. So who knows what they're going to try and come out with. But just looking overall markets, they look like maybe we're starting the recovery. Maybe it has bottomed. We also have oil, which is kind of topped. We can see here with oil around like June 9th, maybe hitting its top and starting the move down in oil price, where we can go back to the stock market here. We can see around the same time, June 9th is around this move down right here, but we see kind of right after oil peaked around the 9th, a couple days later, maybe the market bottomed, and we're starting to see these kind of inverse correlations after the market's moving its way up and oil moving its way down. So if oil spikes again, then we probably have a bigger move down in something like the S&P, but it's probably not going to spike just because there's so much recession fears, and we're definitely in a technical recession right now, and that's going to push the price down because people are not going to have as much money. And then if you're charging ridiculous amounts, people aren't going to buy it, and then that's bad business. You don't make any money. So the price of oil probably coming down, which means maybe the price of the market and stocks going up, which is good for something like Plug, which is more of a risk on play. It's more of an end of the decade, 5 to 10 year investment, not something that's like Apple or these blue chip stocks. It's definitely, Plug is going to fly in the stock market when there's more risk on going on. But definitely something to pay attention to with Plug is this move here, where we've had these kind of sideways, just slightly moving up every single time movement, compared to the overall market where we had, bigger moves down. with the moves up and moves down, and we've just recently started going sideways, maybe trending up. So if the market's recovering, very good for stocks like Plug, smaller mid cap stocks, because obviously if the market's plunging, these are going to fall harder. If the market's recovering, usually they recover harder. Just how Plug is doing, see if what's everything's going on and how their business is doing. The earnings obviously always going to be important, but a little bit more of a look in, make sure how their cash is doing. Are they spending ridiculous amounts of money, and are they going to be able to make it through at least next year to get to 2024, get to profitability, and get through interest rate hikes, because debt is very expensive now. And finally, we can look at the institutions investing money in Plug. And when institutions get involved, that's when you have massive moves in price, because they have lots and lots of money. So you can see first up, we had this Truist Financial Corp had lifted its holdings in Plug by about 20% during the first quarter. So they owned 36,199 shares. So they have about just over $1 million worth of Plug Power shares, which is very small compared to everything else that's going to be talked about. But we see even again, Norges Bank bought a new position in Plug Power in the fourth quarter worth about $208 million. So they increased their position to $208 million. Obviously, way more than just a million. Another institution, Alliance Bernstein, increased its stake in Plug by 612%. So that shows that maybe they're more liking where Plug is going, how this energy is playing out, and looking at how oil's going, and people fighting oil and gas, and oil prices skyrocketing. Banning oil or gas powered cars is a big talking point for a lot of governments. So hydrogen could be this energy that comes in to replace oil, or try and live side by side and use maybe a mixture of both hydrogen and oil instead of just depending on oil. It's something I think a lot of people are looking into. But this company now owns 3.7 million shares of Plug Power, valued at $105 million. And then after they acquired the additional 3.2 million. So originally they had the 400,000 shares. Now they're up to 3.7 million. And a big name, lots of people throw around, BlackRock now owns 48 million shares of the electronic maker's stock, valued at $1.35 billion. So BlackRock, obviously massive amounts of money that they manage, trillions and trillions of dollars, having $1 billion position in Plug. It's not a lot of money for them, but it's very good to see they have a substantial amount of money in Plug Power. They're more belief in Plug Power. They manage a lot of money. They can move prices very, very quickly. And they acquired an additional about just under 2.5 million shares during the last quarter, the fourth quarter of 2021. And now we also have the Bank of Montreal getting involved in Plug. They increased their stake by 270%. The bank now owns just over 2.3 million shares, and it is valued at $68 million. And Sumitomo Mitsui Trust Holdings, probably butchered that, also increased their stake of Plug Power by 65.5%, now own 2.6 million shares, valued at $74 million. And if you look right here, 52.07% of Plug stock is owned by institutions. Usually a pretty good indicator that the big banks or big guys on Wall Street, the big money, is getting involved in something. And when that gets involved, they can push the price quite a bit, because obviously they have a lot of money. And if they are believing in something like Plug and hydrogen power, then it's a good thing for the company. And moving forward, they're probably going to be able to expand the hydrogen economy in general, with a lot of these people kind of backing this stock. They're going to have a vetted interest in Plug doing well, because they're invested in the company. And for Plug to do well, hydrogen has to do well. So kind of maybe moving more towards that world of hydrogen and oil instead of just oil. And just something to look at as well right here, if we see the institutional buying and selling chart, we can see lots and lots of buying with barely any selling in early 2020, even in 2021. And we know Plug Power stock skyrocketed during that time. And then once we get into more 2022-ish, end of 2021, you start to see the selling pick up as makes sense. You know, it's skyrocketed in price. They're going to be profit taking from that. And now with the stock plummeting more, we might see more buying, could push the price of the stock up yet again instead of selling, especially as Plug is down for the year. Ultimately, Plug doing pretty well, you know, staying above the market, trading in a better sense than the rest of the market right now. Although the market may have bottomed, might start picking up as oil might have peaked. So we'll see how it all plays out. I think that Plug is on a good trajectory, at least for the long term. 5 to 10 years, like I said, is like end of the decade play is Plug, and minimum 2024 they should be profitable. If they're not, then we might have problems that we would have to try and figure out. That's gonna do it for this video, guys. As always, don't forget to smash the like button and subscribe. And there are to 1,000 subscribers. I'll see you guys in my next